was pretty weak. Good morning. Thank you. That's much better. Much better. My name is Donny Shimamoto. I'm one of the thought leaders. So thank you very much for having me here. I'm actually from Hawaii. I'm really coming back to this. I'm really coming to talk to you about transforming accounting. And I'm purposely not calling this finance. Because one of the things I want to challenge you to do is get out of that comfort zone of finance and really come back to accounting. Because in accounting is really where we're adding value back to the businesses that we work with. How many of you guys are from the business and industry side? Pretty good. Probably almost half the room. So let's really look at what is our role as accountants. Let's come back to this. Our role as accountants has typically been all the way on the left side of here. And it's purposely on the left as well. We're looking at data capture. We're comfortable with looking at technical skills, looking at financial accounting, and really taking that and then doing what? Reporting on it. How useful is that? How many of you go and generate all these reports, and what do you think all the department managers do with it after you give it to them? Either on the shelf, trash can, maybe I use it as scratch paper, give it to my kids. Right? So really, how do we take that and how do we then add value into what we're doing? So that's where we want to start moving towards the right. As we start to do our reports, we want to look at adding analysis into that. And I'm not talking about just doing ratios and all that kind of stuff, which, who really cares about that? Us, maybe our bankers, maybe investors. Really what I want to start to do is look at how can I take that analysis and drive that into insights. You know, Tom and Gretchen have the insights to action going. And that's really what we need to do. We need to start driving insights from these analyses that we're doing, enabling people to then make that decision. That's the next point we've got there. Make that decision, generate influence by going and causing people to take action as we need them to take action, and in the end, having that impact. Now, what is that impact? It really depends upon what we're doing. Impact, if I'm in a for-profit business, might be generating shareholder value. If I'm in the nonprofit world, it's going to be impacting my constituents. It's really going to be serving my constituents. You know, whatever it is that we're doing, really, coming back to accounting, is getting away from all of these non-value added, getting out of our comfort zone, getting out of the reports, and getting to the point where we have an impact. And we can do that in a variety of roles. And both of these are actually coming from SEMA. As we look at the different roles in accounting, we have 4 major shifts here. Stewardship and a controllership, being a business partner, technical experts, trusted reporter. Take your pick. So for those of you that are in the public accounting side here, which is about half the room, you know, a lot of times we'll see that group, you guys over here in trusted reporter. Traditionally, business and industry, we're operating up in this steward and controller area. But really where we need to start shifting is all the way over into that upper right quadrant. You know, just, I think Gretchen said it. Has to have 4 different quadrants for it to be a valid business model. So we've got our 4 quadrants here. And as always, that upper right side is the one that we want to be in. How do we move and become a trusted business partner? Where we're actually looking at the business strategy, where we're helping to manage the performance of the organization. Whether it's our own CPA firms, whether it's our clients' firms, or whether it's the company that we're working for. That's really where we help to manage and add value. So how do I do that? I've actually stolen this as well from McKinsey & Company. Really, expectations for our accounting organizations are changing. And what they're doing is they're shifting us through this chain. So as we start off on the left side here in transaction management, this is the bean counter world. This is where we're also, a lot of us are probably pretty comfortable. We're dealing primarily with financial accounting. And our challenge here is just volume of transactions. I'm just inputting transactions, processing transactions. As that starts to get automated, that's going to become more and more, or maybe actually I should turn it the other way. It's become less and less of a challenge because it's going to become more automated and our systems are going to start taking care of that. So then what I move into, number 2 there, controlling the business. This is where the term controller comes from. Right? If I'm the controller of the business, I'm now focused on managed reporting. I'm starting to look at the tax and how the business is making decisions, what the tax impacts of that are. I may be dealing with audit, and I may be dealing with treasury and cash flow and all that kind of fun stuff. In there, my challenge is looking at consistent processes and excellence there. That I'm doing things well, that I have things organized, that I'm controlling the business. Now, my next step that I want to take is really into analysis and planning. This is where I start to add value. This is where I'm doing performance management. And we're not only talking about financial performance, but we're talking about operational performance. Get out of the financial comfort zone. That's why I want to stop calling us financial, the finance department. I want it to come back to start being called the accounting department. We're really looking at, we're counting everything, not only dollars, we're looking at units, we're looking at constituents served, no matter what industry you're in, we're really looking at what is happening, how do we measure that, what are the right metrics to use to see that in the end we're having an impact. And that's the performance. What is the performance of the organization? How is the organization having an impact? Oh, and I just covered our fourth one there. Would you mind, Anu? Thank you. Our fourth one there is as we really start to move into this concept of having all of the insights. This is where we're starting to have integrated functional excellence. And by functional, we're essentially talking about different departments. At this point, we shift away from this controlling and this focus on control really into value, impact, and really looking at the excellence of the overall organization, not just finance. With that, what we're really doing is coming back to our core, which is to help people make better decisions. That's our job, especially in the CFO role, or as for me, I'm primarily in the business advisory role as a consultant. What I'm trying to do is help my clients, and my client, if I'm the CFO, maybe the CEO, maybe my other department managers, I'm trying to help them make better decisions. So I'm doing that by measuring and helping to identify measures for all the different things that we may be doing, providing them with good, solid information and data to support that decision making, and then helping them to measure the results. Through that, then, I'm able to help the business as a whole really develop what it's doing, help it to really look at what's going on in the business and how are we having an impact, whether it's to our employees, to our community, to our constituents, or even just to our customers. And then with that, I'm going to do my last thing, which is our risk management hat. And this is one of the things I think we as CPAs particularly provide excellent, have an excellent niche in. It's this concept of being able to go and look at risks, figure out, are these valid risks? What's the potential impact? What's the probability that this risk is going to happen? And then to take that and put that into a decision framework. How do we as a business make a decision where we're managing risk, not minimizing risk, where we're managing that risk, and really being able to generate the full value and impact that we can have? So in the end, it's really about coming back and going through this transition. So challenge each of you to go back, figure out where are you in this transition, and how do you get to the next step. Thank you very much.